A very good morning to one and all. First of all, once again, I, Santosh Patil, on behalf of organizing committee, welcome you all for the second day of the faculty development program, which is being conducted by our college under the scheme of RUSA 2.0. Today's theme of the session is faculty development program and innovations in XR and its role in education. This is going to be a new concept for all of us. We take this opportunity to equip our teachers with this technical knowledge on the given topic. This session will cover various concepts of XR and its role in academic field. Like yesterday's, this session will also enhance and upgrade our knowledge and skills. So we are looking forward to learn and understand the concept of XR and its usage in education. Now, I would request our principal ma'am to say a few words on this occasion and address the participants.
Thank you, Mr. Patil, and welcome once again, Mr. Akshat. It's indeed a privilege to be there with our colleagues and you, especially with loads of knowledge about the contemporary way of looking at things. I think my colleagues, first I will address my colleagues. Hope you all had a good time yesterday with Akshat's knowledge of artificial intelligence. And today he is going to bring some innovative approach. Probably you have to be a little more observant today because each one of you are going to be teaching different subjects. So when Akshat is going to give you a general view of how you are going to be innovative in using these tools, I think mentally you should be applying them to suit your subject and the various topics that you will be dealing with the students. I am really happy that before we start the actual teaching learning process for the fresh academic year 2021-22, we could get this stalwart, Mr. Akshat, to speak to you about how we are going to make ourselves better compared to 2021 in the year 21-22 and make our children realize that we are in the race with them and we can go ahead of them as we are being given training by none other than Akshat, who is an expert in the field, have contacted so many colleges, have been conducting various programs under various bodies. And I think we are very happy to have you, sir. Although I know we had given you a very short time, but given the enthusiasm and passion to spread innovative tools and make artificial intelligence a reality in the education field, I think you have adjusted your schedule and accepted our invitation. A special thanks to you, Akshat. And before I proceed further, probably I will call upon one or two of my colleagues, what they have learned yesterday and what they look forward for today. Anybody who want to volunteer, or should I name them?
No, ma'am, two faculty members have volunteered themselves.
Okay.
Karishma Khadiwala ma'am will be giving her feedback along with Suryakant Pagare sir.
Like that is at the end. I want what they want yesterday. आज का सुबह शुरुआत करेंगे ना हम. Okay. Yes, anyone who want to volunteer? Sunita madam, what did you learn yesterday and what you are looking forward for today? Yes, Sunita. Sunita madam? I think I will go for Vrishali. Can you just share your experience yesterday and what you are looking for today?
Ma'am, can I do?
No, I have requested Vrishali. Let's see.
Because my internet is a little bit slow. So
let's wait for a few minutes. Yeah, Vrishali madam.
Yeah, good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, yesterday I attended and it was like for the first time I was attending something on data science and about like I also I mean how it can be related to commerce because he mentioned about how this data sciences can be used for commerce student background with a commerce student. So for accountant or business analyst, when the people are applying, how it is going to be helpful. So this was something a new aspect, and AI is a new aspect for me. I mean, we know things like, when we see some products, we know that AI is being used, but what exactly AI is, what is its history, and the different applications about it, I got to know about it. And today, to be very honest, like when I saw the poster which has been made, I was like, ki games and all those things were coming in my mind, and I was like wondering if for our academic purpose, for the educational purpose, how exciting it will be for the students if you are able to give them something, which is going to be like real life experience. So I'm looking forward to today's
Thank you,
session.
Vrishali.
Thank
Over
you
to
so
you,
much, ma'am.
Tejasri madam. Tejasri madam. I think her internet is on.
No, it's there, it's there.
Yeah.
Unmute me, yeah. Yes, this is really going to help me because I yesterday also I told that I'm teaching e-commerce for MCOM, and I come across various terms which are related to AI and now with virtual reality. So it was like giving me some nice inputs where I can prepare some notes, basic notes.
Very good. Very good. What are you looking forward today? आज का आपका क्या expectation है?
Expectation अभी topics पता चलेगा because now creativity है. So let's see. I hoping कि virtual reality में कुछ inputs करेंगे because
probably your advertising का भी जरा use हो जाएगा. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Vrishali. Thank you, Tejasri. Probably we will get to know from Sunita later on. And I think without wasting much of your time, over to you, Patil sir, to go ahead with the program. And wish you all the best, my dear colleagues. Probably after some time, I will take leave from you. But nevertheless, Akshat is there and you can continue with your learning through this particular session. Thank you very much, Akshat. Once again, over to you, Patil sir.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your encouraging and motivating words. Now today also we have Mr. Akshat Kamath as a resource person, as it was yesterday. And now, sir, we welcome you on this occasion. I would now, without wasting much of time, I would request you to start with the session and give your presentation. Over to you, Akshat sir.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Patil sir. And thank you so much, Madam Principal, for, again, a very great introduction. And also just a great, small interaction at first with the faculty. It was nice to hear everybody's, feedback and just to know what they took away from the session. Because the challenge with doing, large webinars like this is that people are coming to it with different backgrounds and different initial understandings. So it is always, as a speaker, I have to be careful about at what level do I start explaining from, because I don't want to be jumping, concepts for people for whom this is the first time. And it's definitely, because these are advanced technologies, it is not absolutely not a bad, something that you're falling behind or something just because you're hearing them for the first time. And the things are changing so fast that 1 year later, somebody who has heard before, he should also try to, approach the same things from, an updated perspective and just try to clean their slate that, okay, I will have to probably relearn some things. So it was nice to hear that everybody had a good time yesterday. And today also it will be a lighthearted session. So I'll just share my screen for a small presentation that we have. Okay. So this session should be, I expect, a more lighthearted, less, very heavy concept driven. We won't be talking about data or statistics, mathematics. It is very visual, very intuitive. And, once you see, we will talk about a few abstract issues such as what we are facing today, like in the world with respect to how technology has gone ahead, but education sector has not been able to keep up. So I'll just, this is just my bio. I'm sure we don't need to go over it again for everybody. Yeah, proceeding to agenda for what I want to talk on today. So what we will do is we'll again split the session into 3 parts as we did yesterday. And I'll take approximately 15-20 minutes for each section. Now, I'll spend a little bit of time just showing everybody what is happening now today in the world of AR and VR with respect to the industry, how these technologies are changing very different sectors of the market, and from, say, real estate to medicine to even what is going to be the content ecosystem in the next coming years. So towards the end, you may find one or two very interesting videos that I have. Finally, after post that, we just proceed a little bit, bring the context back to our worlds, which is that is a tutor and student ecosystem education, and what is the problem today that we are having. And we'll also talk about what is the potential in this market for integrating these systems into it. And finally, I'll take a few minutes to also talk about we as Devlon, what we have done with respect to our solution, and what our proposition is to bring this technology and make it democratized for the market. Because as a teacher, being able to understand, to have a prerequisite requirement of understanding this technology from scratch is actually a very big ask. That should not be the expectation, as many products today are. The expectation of a teacher should be to understand only your subject matter and maybe understand how to use some basic software that can anyways be taught anyhow. So what we are bringing to you is a completely no coding platform. So maybe that should be a few exciting, we'll show you some anecdotes of what is possible on it. And because we only have 1 hour today, I won't go into details of much of anything, but hopefully this will also, like yesterday, give you a good primer on how to think about these concepts and also give you some basic understanding on each of them. Okay, so let's get started. Let's not talk too much about what we're going to talk about instead. So first up, before we actually proceed into what is happening in the world of XR, I think it's first important to talk about what these terms mean, because you may hear AR, VR, and XR. You may keep hearing these words, augmented virtual reality, over and over again. But let me just try and give you a little bit of context as to how each of them are similar and different, and in what context you should use what term. Because similar to what happens with data science, data engineering, analytics, people, they use the words interchangeably, but each of those words mean different things in their own context. So to start with, the term, this ecosystem or this field of study started originally with VR, and the term virtual reality itself came from the more fundamental field of computer graphics, which was started off as a way to represent data not as 2D, not on our screens, but in a more spatial graphical manner, that is in 3D, 3 dimensions. And without going too much into the details of what computer graphics deals with, what I would like to say is that the result, the outcome of advancements in that field enabled people to show data in 3D, and from data, the next step was to create models, to create objects inside this simulated world that can use within computers, and find a way to visualize it, to demonstrate it. So these objects that you can make, they can be any sorts of objects, and that's how 3D games were born. So the whole term virtual reality, games do fall under that paradigm. But today, when we think of virtual reality, what we think of is that headset that you put on when you are playing those VR games or you're watching VR content. But as more broader concept, this is both virtual and this augmented terms of reality come under the more larger term of what we call extended reality. So the point that you should probably take away from here is that our reality, everything that is real that we touch and feel, it is basically an output or a creation of our 6 senses. And our experience of the world is limited to our 6 senses, 5 senses that are there, not the 6. And what we do through technology is that either we bring virtual objects into our real world that is out here, outside the world of computers, in which we will be augmenting our current reality, or we dive into a completely new virtual world, and then we call it virtual reality. So that is exactly where the distinction starts and stops. And I think I should probably show you a picture as to how to think about this a little better. I think it's more easier to think of this virtual reality as putting yourself into an encapsulated environment. And with augmented, it's you are in your current world, your current living conditions, and you're bringing things that only exist on your screens and on your TVs, and you're trying to find new ways to view them. Either you're trying to bring them out through these headsets, or eventually, if say hologram technology is realized or if it's made feasible, you can also probably see them through your naked eye. So that is what these technologies are trying to do. Now, you're trying to do these things, but what is possible with achieving this sort of technology? And that is, let's just see a few examples of what is happening in this field. So I think before we go into some specific example, this is a good visual to show you what are all the various possibilities that come out just from this one technology being feasible. And of course, this entire field itself is driving multiple industries. Now, it's not just your semiconductor industry for which you have to make that has to make these devices that is being completely pushed forward, and they are getting so much investment and also a big market. But what is happening is that apart from games, which is how the concept started and was seen attractive, now it has come into the service industry. And you will see that today, if you go to a theme park or if you go to a concert, that experience of say visiting a concert, which is at least into your visual and auditory senses, that now can be recreated in your home through this technology. And again, people are trying to do this with sport, trying to recreate the experience of being in a stadium, having the crowd cheer around you with things like 3D surround sound, and covering your entire visual cortex with the playing field. And of course, anything that has to engage our sights or our hearing is subject to advertisement. There will be an ad space for it. So this is again going to be a completely new form of digital space where everything that we experience on our current devices, be it our smartphones or our tablets or our computers, that is going to come onto this medium as well. Just it will be from 2D to a three-dimensional, more spatial medium. Now, what is happening now is that because this is essentially an empowerment tool for remote technology, the first thing and the most impact driven solution for us is that is in medicine, where not only are you able to use these virtual objects or overlapping virtual things on top of real things to give people a better opportunity to train, to also practice on not just through your textbook or just on images on or just pictures on top of a page, but in terms of an actual way of how you're experiencing it, a more spatial way. So one example that we doctors in America are doing right now is that before surgeries, and there is a preemptive visualization practice where what you do is that you take a virtual version of the person's body part and you visualize, you picture exactly where is the affected organ or where is the affected part. You look around it, you try to simulate how the surgery would go before the surgery actually happens. You can discuss with your co-surgeons or the nurses, and you can tell them beforehand that, okay, this is what will be happening, and I would like you to be ready for this and this to happen. If this happens, you have to do this. So this is highly increasing the success rate for surgeries, because what is happening is till now experience was the biggest way of practicing for any doctor, but now it's possible that even fresher doctors who don't get that chance to go ahead, they are now getting an opportunity to use technology. And of course, as a tool for remote communication, an experienced doctor sitting in a city, sitting in Mumbai, if there is a patient for whom this doctor's expertise is required, sitting somewhere in rural India, it is possible for this person to guide the local surgeon or the local doctor through remotely, or even in some cases, what they're trying in Europe and America is they are letting doctors actually handle a very dexterous robot that can do the surgery and be the doctor's hands in the surgery field. So the doctor is actually operating the robot sitting in his office or his home in the city, and that robot is doing the surgery remotely. So these are all the things that are possible in this field, for example. And this is just one of multiple use cases here. And apart from medicine, let's just look at something that everybody might be a little more comfortable understanding is in real estate. So today, if you might have seen house listings, or even when new builders, if you have ever been to any current builder in Mumbai and looked at the site, if the place is still under construction, they are still they don't have a ready flat essay available for you to show sample flat. What they do is they are trying to get a virtual tour, an e-tour organized for you, so that you're not just flipping through a brochure, you are also taking a look at how it would be like inside the house, what will the building look like. This is a way for a builder or any person to actually find a outlet to show his vision, and not just leave it to your imagination when he says that this will be a very futuristic building. So even this way, people have a more realistic understanding of what is going to be the product that they will be investing in, that they will be buying in. And this is going to absolutely be here to stay in at least the real estate sector, because construction, because whether we move away back to our normal lives post the pandemic or not, this is going to be a tool to help them regardless. And let's just take another, I think do we have another example? Okay. This is an example personally close to my heart. And what they did is that, especially in this now past 2 years of remote learning, what I found very fascinating was that my alma mater, IIT Bombay, conducted their India's first full virtual convocation, which was, of course, putting together Zoom, Google Meet, and everything. And people from all over the world were participating. But the most fantastic feature of this was, and at least the biggest takeaway for a student in the convocation, is the chance to get on stage and actually receive your degree by hand, and shaking hands with say the dignitaries and getting that picture clicked, because that is usually your memory of the entire event. And of course, because they could not do the physical presence of students where people are gathered, they gave you the next best thing, not just a picture, but a 3D virtual memory of this event, which they broadcasted as well. And they created this for the entire students. So I'll just play a small few seconds of this portion of the event, and you don't need any audio over here. I'll just show you how they did it. This was broadcasted again on mobile and your PCs working together, and this is an entire virtual recreation of the student, the graduating person, and the dean, of course, is handing over the degree to the student. And they repeated this for everybody, and the actual dignitaries present over here, they were able to applaud and recognize that the degree is being handed on. So this is a new way for these students and kids to have this new memory. And this is like a fantastic application of using virtual reality, because this is entire a virtual simulation that we're seeing here. So this is what is possible now by educational institutes. And I think this initiative will continue even in the future. And finally, I think what I might have for you that is even more exciting, that is happening in the industry, is the next frontier in video broadcasting. And this is personally something that I have worked on during my time in Sony. And of course, it's close to my heart. But what I also believe in is that this is going to be a way for us to experience video content in the future, and it's going to be as obvious as, say, watching TV, watching live broadcasting. So the speech here that is used is in Japanese. So possibly it's not going to be relevant to everybody. So let's just read the subtitles while we look at the content. And I'll just explain what's happening here. What we did was we recorded these people in a real studio, in a greenback studio, and we completely photorealistically recreated them in a virtual environment. These people were shot beforehand, and what we also have is a live broadcasting system where these people, now the same two people who are speaking, we are recording them dancing, and because we're recreating them in a virtual environment, we're able to do all of this fantastic camera work. There is no cameraman over here. All of this camera work is done by the computer in a virtual simulation. And you can see here, you're going underground. This has not been possible for a real cameraman. You cannot go in places that are physically impossible to go into, such as fly in the air, or go underground, or go extremely close to the people or the performers. So this is going to be, by complete reconstruction of this entire scene, it's going to be possible to do many new things. And this application can be recreated not just for the performing arts. Imagine for sports, if you can have any possible view, your third umpire has unlimited viewing capability within the field. So that's what they're trying to do here. And I think this, when it comes to broadcasting, is going to be the biggest application for virtual and augmented reality. Okay, so this was just one teaser of what is possible now and what is happening in the industry. So of course, let's come back to our current situation, our current paradigm, and we can tackle questions on if anybody has any doubts or questions on what's happening or what we spoke about just now, we can take them in the end. So let's come back and discuss a little bit with how education has been tackling, or at least been trying to keep up with the current scenario. And for that, I think the teachers here, for you, you are going to agree to some extent, at least, with what I'm going to say here, is that the shift to online has, for some, in most ways, it has been more frustrating than in terms of student engagement than you had in your classroom lectures. Because there have been studies that people have always been done of the engagement, and also the way that how students are reciprocating to their current education environment. So people, before the pandemic, before online lessons, usually it was studied and understood in a report that there are approximately students have their attention span for about 15 minutes until the lesson starts, a majority of them. Post that, your attention span starting to you start getting distracted, you start not focusing on what is in the lecture. And this is a product of our decreasing attention spans for various reasons, which we shouldn't get into. But this is now even more sharply declining since we have gone online. And now that 15 minutes has fallen to 5 or 6 minutes. And I think all the teachers here might understand, might to some reason resonate with me when I say that, when you're doing an online session or lecture, it is very difficult to get a response from students, or get that sort of engagement and activity that was possible. If you're teaching in a class, if you ask students to say, raise their hand or engage with you in an interaction, if it was, say, little difficult in class, it is very difficult online. And our current online scenario, these tools, they are not equipped to handle this problem. And teaching aside, the lectures aside, what are we going to do about assessments, especially? Because we are now in a reality where schools are grappling to find a way to virtually conduct examinations. Theory exams, there is some solution that you can do with respect to, say, MCQ written exam submissions. But what will we do for practical exams? Especially STEM colleges, that is those who are doing science and those that have laboratory and practicals in them, they are completely at a loss because there is no replacement for them. And that is like the biggest challenge that we are facing today. And before, what is happening now in 2020, in fact, an even bigger problem that precedes this is actually a problem that we're seeing in education, which is that the quality and quantity of students and classroom sizes has not been able to keep up. The colleges have not been able to keep up with the quantity of students that are coming in and keep the quality up with these increasing number of students. So of course, industry is moving forward. Companies are asking for scales that are just not there. We have not even heard of 5 years ago, and are definitely not in the textbooks now. And again, students are not paying attention because this is something that I haven't written down anywhere, but I can probably attest to you that, now we are living in an age where students are learning socially. They respect their peer circle more for learning something than when they respect, say, a higher up or a teacher that is teaching the same thing, because you realize that day in and day out, you are learning more things from social media than you are learning sitting in a classroom in a set hour. And not only are you not participating and not attending, having their attention, and that is leading to a vicious cycle where your lack of attention is giving you no output from the classroom, and that is discouraging you from paying more attention in the classroom again. So what is required now today is, a little bit of a shift where the teachers can again take charge of the class and show the student something in a way that is just not possible anywhere else. My experience, even to some extent in college, was that if I missed out anything in my classes, before the exam, I will always find somebody on YouTube who will have explained that concept to the same extent, with same competency, if not more, than what my teacher might have taught me in the class. And because the best teacher, the best YouTube videos are recommended to you. It is just easy to find it all online. So what happens is that there is the students are shifting their attention away from wanting to need their current teaching environment, and what we need is a bit of a shift where the teachers need to take charge again by showing the students something that they won't get out there. So we'll get into what that is in a little bit. And the third problem that we are facing now is an employability problem, which I don't need to explain because I probably touched upon it yesterday, is that many of these students, engineers, do not have the functional knowledge that is needed today. And whether it be software related jobs or even say in commerce graduate fields, where they don't have that, say, practical experience. The company is asking for exposure or experience in something that the student had no chance to do it in their school or college. And this is again leading to another issue. But let's just come to what the global movement is happening to change this, because everybody recognizes these problems that are happening out there. And the coming to how AR XR, that is extended reality concepts or technology, can connect to this, is that people are trying to find ways to use that same technology, which is being used to create games or do all this fantastic broadcasting or these convocations or real estate, and apply that in education. Can't we use the same thing and use it in a different way? So because of the efforts in the past 5 to 7 years, what we are seeing is that year on year, there is so much increase in market share, because many institutions want this, and market share is constantly growing year on year. And of course, this has been reflected in, last year's Indian government's, very futuristic looking NEP, National Education Policy, in which they spoke about how AI, data science, and also VR in education is to be adopted as quickly as possible by institutions so that they can catch up with the world, and also our graduates can be competent. Because the unique thing about India is that we are a country, in say 10 years, we are going to be one of the only countries that is going to have a surplus of graduates, and every other country is going to be wanting graduate. The jobs might be out there, but they will not have enough graduates because of a demographic issue, among others. But coming back to the point is that not only is the market share growing, but also the student performance and their engagement with the classroom was growing. Just with every interaction, and even the teachers are constantly saying that this has made their life easier. The concept that they needed 1 hour, 45 minutes to teach, they are now able to teach in 15 minutes. Student, anyways, they don't listen for more than 5 minutes. Now they're able to understand more in those 5 minutes, maybe even increase that attention span. And again, in this global efforts, what is happening is that spending is increasing a lot, because this is a worldwide number. So it is probably, there are variations depending on the country. But what you will see is that although AI we see the mind-boggling shift from, say, of over 6 times. That's almost 5 to 600% in just a span of 7 years, and we are in the third year from 7 out of 7. And but the change is that the shift from the investment increase in AR VR is even more than that, and it is more than the sum of all of these put together. So this is definitely going to be a very high impact industry. And what is going to happen is in 2-3 years, you will start hearing more and more examples of schools that are using AR VR technologies. And like the students they have been using it regularly. They have included in their curriculum. Governments have recognized it and made it part of, say, their undergraduate requirements, everything. So this will keep happening year on year. And like you will start seeing that other schools around you will start trying to scamper to start using this technology, to start getting access to these things. So this is something that I feel that the leading colleges, especially those that are high performing, leading others in the charge, should act as an example for others. But apart from all this investment and all of this impact studies that we're seeing, there are many colleges who are trying to implement things, because of course there have been almost about, I think, over 25,000 colleges across the world, according to studies that are trying to use some way AR and augmented and virtual reality. And but what is happening is the majority of them are not able to move beyond the experimentation. That is, they are experimenting, they're trying some lessons, but they are not getting the stage where, okay, we are ready to conduct classes of, say, 20 students, 40 students, 80 students, or and there is the problems behind that are, of course, very simple. And one is the fact that although the technology might be there, but there is no content. I am a teacher who teaches mathematics, and although the platform that my school or college uses, it is teaching all of these mechanical concepts, such as they're teaching complicated motors, or robotics are being taught using these tech. But me as a mathematics teacher, what uses this for me? I cannot do anything. There is no content for me. So there again, adoption is being reducing. The next way is that even if there are people who are making content for you, the teacher has to sit and do that lecture creation part again, right? So as teachers, like, this is just a part of your routine. I'm sure, like, most of you might have just become used to it by now, is that before a lecture you have to prepare for that lecture, and like what is going to be taught, the agenda, how you're going to make sure that everything is completed as per syllabus. And with this thing, there is a new problem that I have to create lecture material now, day after day. How is that going to happen? How this is so difficult to use a platform that needs coding. And third is, like, other ways to show the students that there is no way for students to participate in this. They're only watching, say, demonstrations, not very different from watching a video. So these are the problems that are there right now. And we need a solution that can tackle at least most of them, at least some of them, if not all, at once. And we'll just show you some examples of how we are trying to do that ahead. And this is basically how I'll talk about what we are trying to do here. And our solution for this is that we are making a platform that is completely accessible, easy to use, and intuitive for all the teachers. And for this, we have partnered with a SaaS company known as Eon Reality, and they are a leader who is leveraging academic and industry training solutions all over. And we are coming together to make content for this platform and also develop it so that we can roll it out for colleges across India. And the way we are doing it is that these are the features of the platform, on the fact that you yourself as a teacher can learn on it, and you can transfer this learning onto your students, because this entire education process is all about knowledge transfer. And what we are trying to do is we are giving you a tool so that you can use all of the material that is available, that we are just making ready for you, and you can quickly fix up lectures for students, and you can demonstrate it to them. So I'll just show a few examples of how we are making that possible. And but these are some of the features, of course, for that, which is absolutely easy lesson creation. You can sit for say 15-20 minutes in a day and just quickly make up a new XR lesson for the students. Your assessment, the biggest part, one of the biggest challenges that we have now is that of assessing your students practically, or that too online, which is now possible through platform, through not just theory but also mixing together theory and the entire experiential format of working with a virtual object. And even your practical exams should be possible on this platform, given and that too in a way that is not possible, that has not even been done yet. So I'll just show a few examples here of how we can do that. And well, this is the Creator AVR platform that we have. And moving on to some very good features of what we are trying to give you here is that this is a view of how, say, a lesson would look like if you're trying to show this to your students. Now, I'm going to start with something very, very basic. I'm sure still, despite most of everybody being here with the commerce background, at least you may resonate a little bit with this example, which is that of a basic atomic structure that can possibly even be relevant to junior college in 11th and 12th standard for students. And what we are doing here is that you are able to create offline recordings of this 3D thing, and you can show your student, if you're talking about this one subject, this one concept, you can show the student exactly what you're talking about when you're talking about something, and all the moving parts, all, not only you're just limited with that from your basic textbook, just words and images, you're now coming into animation where you can examine things closely. You can look at the things, how they are moving together and what is happening in when all the parts come together in the big picture. So this should be possible for any teacher to just create in a snap. So everything is sitting here ready. You, whatever you want to teach to the student, like all the points that you want to put across, you can just type it out. You can even quickly record yourself through a mic and just make it available to your students. So this is just one of the many things that we can do here. And another very impressive thing that I find about the platform is just the ability to show your students live and talk about a concept when you're doing. So this is something that we tried with, in engineering college, and where in mechanical subject. So we try to show them this use case where, a teacher, if they're talking with a student, how they can demonstrate the concept. So you will read about, say, this this particular engine in a textbook. There are pictures, ample pictures, all the, this entire thing, probably all the annotations and labeling is all done. But you will not be able to talk about this in the same way that a teacher can explain to the student in just these 2 to 5 minutes in this format. And everything that I am doing over here, it is visible to the student through their screen. And this is me presenting while I'm running in animation and talking about the product, the object, and just the student also has a better understanding of how inside a car, inside a machine, when a combustion engine system is working, what is exactly the moving that is creating energy, and what is the small parts that are important. If this part is not there, what will happen? Why will the engine fail? It's because when you're actually visualizing the motion, you will be able to better grasp that, okay, if a particular thing is missing or if this is faulty, how can the system go wrong? And this is going to be a better way to understand and grasp these concepts. And I think in the second half of this video, we are seeing that I asked this student over here to point out this one part for me. And what he did was that, let me just show you a part. He took over the screen and he pointed to that part, and now he is talking about it over here in this part of the video. And now he's gone back. I have told him to go ahead and also explain the same thing that I was doing. He's checking out some things here. He's going to identify another big part, and he's going to play this and talk about it more. So this is going to be another way that the teacher can get involvement from the student. It's not going to be where you are sharing your screen, but the student is not able to show their work at all. And here everybody is talking about the same concept. What you or the student is doing is able to work with the same model and see the same things at the same time. Okay. And finally, this is again another fascinating thing which we're trying to do is uh, realize these things in an AR context where, okay, this is a table at my home, and what I'm doing is that this virtual computer that we have made, we have brought it into the real world here. And of course, this is only visible through my mobile phone because I'm currently showing you a recording of my cell phone. But with this, say, if you're able to do this in a lab in the school or college, you do not have to worry about even the fact that you have to share the same piece of hardware with 20 students or 50 students. All of your students can experience your piece of whatever you're talking about, even if it be the smallest piece of parts at the same time, and they can keep up. Now, we're in a world where if you're sitting in a class, the backbenchers are scrolling their mobile phones. But here, at least, the advantage is that because everybody is using their mobile phones, this is going to implicitly increase their engagement as well. And you're going to be able to talk about these things in a way that was not possible before, because not only are we making this entire virtual components that we can make as many as we want and share it with as many people as we want, but also the format of showing, wherein if you're talking about expensive equipment especially, it is now possible to handle these at least and show students closely that what part is doing what exactly over here. So for a teacher or a specialist, this is going to be a game changer. And this is just some of the features that we have. And yeah, finally, like putting all of this together, this is what we're trying to do when we try to increase engagement and also integrate your entire learning together. So I think we're almost out of time because we also have to make room for a little bit of questions. And yeah, this is basically what we have over here for you today. And if anybody over here is trying to onboard over here, you can explore the training material in interactive immersive format. And also, it's not just for your computers. You do not need a high-end computer. This is all on the cloud, so everything is powered by the internet and on remote servers. So not only because of this, now you can also do this same thing on your phones, your tablets, and your PCs at the same time. And of course, everything is recorded. You as a teacher get a better way to manage how your students are working on the system. So if your students are also on this platform with you, you can track when the students have logged in, how many logins have they done, and if they've actually studied the material that you have sent them. So that's again going to be another way for you to keep track that all of the students are participating in the process. Yeah, so that's basically what we have for you today. I'll just take a few minutes. I'd like to show you a live demonstration. I think that might be a very good way of actually showing you how this thing works by example instead of just talking about them and showing you videos. Okay, so what we have here is that we are on the Devler Neon platform, and what we have over here is that I took something like a very generic mathematical example because I did not want to show you something that is probably extremely science heavy. So so this is a view where I have sat and created this lesson in less than, I have not even used 30 minutes for this. I probably took me only 20 minutes to set this up. And you can just put in your objectives. You can define what the lesson is about. And this lesson is, before I actually start playing it, you can just see that this is at the level of say 11th or 12th standard student. And for me personally, I chose this because although I was good at geometry, I had a very big problem understanding conic sections, in mathematics, because not only are the formulae for that complicated, they are also difficult to visualize, because I can imagine a sphere or a cube or, something, a simple shape better. And if you're trying to do geometric work on it, but if you're telling me to think of cross sections on a cube, on a cone, that was just very difficult for me, and I had to just rack my head and just rote learn those formulae. So what we did instead is that with this, I'll just show you how it is possible to just demonstrate this on the Eon platform. It's just going to be very intuitive, and you can see visually how this is working. So what I am doing here is that if I am a student, I'm viewing this as a student, and this is prepared for me by the teacher over here, and I can just examine this conic section any way I want. I have complete freedom to explore this virtual world that we are looking at. Let me just expand my screen so that we have a little bit more immersion. And what the teacher can also do is prepare content over here for me. The teacher can drop notes that, you can play an intro video over here about what's happening. What you can also pick out, say, YouTube content, and the student will feel, okay, if I was going to go to YouTube, that same thing is available here. It's all organized for me. Why not just study here? And again, finally, beyond just learning the thing, what you can also do is, again, testing. And this is just another fantastic homework activity that you can also leave for the students. Now, let me just show an example of how a question is left for me to locate what is called the upper nape. And you will notice a small timer over here where the student is now, I have only 20 seconds to find what the upper nape of this conic section is. Now, okay, if I would have clicked this button, I would have learned when I was seeing the session, but let me just try and guess. Now they said select and hold. Let me just see if I can try that. Okay, I ended up, I think I don't know where it is. Okay, so the time is up and I was not able to find it in time. And okay, this is what the object that the creator of the lesson was meaning, the upper part of the conic section. Okay, fine, I got this wrong. Maybe let's try again. Let's try the next quiz. And okay, let's see if we can try to locate what they are calling a vertex. Okay, so let's see. I think this might be it. And I'm just going to try and so this. Okay. So, okay, this is the vertex, and that's right. So this is again one way for you to test very simple concepts, very simple thing. Normally, if I was working on a Zoom or Google Meet and doing this lecture, and I would have to ask a student, okay, tell me, I just spoke about the vertex, where is it? And they would have to vaguely tell me, and it was just not going to be effective. But this, if you can leave it even as a homework, activity for the student, when he goes through this entire timer and sees that, okay, this is the vertex, his retention is going to be much better at the end of it. And there is a lot more of these, of all of these quizzes and activities that we have here. And let me just show you one of the best beautiful aspects of this that, gave me a lot of cathartic pleasure in seeing is that if you're looking at cross sections of, any conic cone over here, okay, this is how you would have a circle. And if you are asking me, okay, fine, how would we have a parabolic cross section of the cone? And okay, for an ellipse, you would just have to do this at an angle, and this would be an ellipse. And I can explore this through various angles, take a look, okay, that's what's happening. So I have to, rotate the plane at a certain angle, and there are requirements for the angle. What is the requirement? This is it. And okay, fine. If I keep rotating it further, what would happen? If I were to rotate even further, I would get what is a parabolic cross section. Okay. Now, why isn't it closed like it was in the ellipse? Because this part of the plane is leaving the cone. So this is just visually now available to me. And I don't, now my understanding of how this thing works is far bigger, is far more deeper than, any textbook would have taught me the same concept. So this is a beauty of what we're trying to do through, say, 3D lessons. And this is just one of them. And let me just exit this lesson. And another thing that is possible, with this mode of learning is also what we're calling 360 lessons. And okay, so I'll just show you something because this is what we're trying to do with simulating virtual visits. And you don't have to go to, different platforms and softwares for this. And this is, a way of using already available material out there. And right now what we're seeing is we're seeing pictures of the Taj Mahal. And these are 360 images, within the platform. And this is one view that, you as a teacher, if you're trying to tell the students, so this is something that we tried with architecture, teachers, and we showed them that if they want to portray certain uses of architectural design, how they can, try to show where this is actually visible. So especially this top piece, which is, just one of the reasons why Taj is considered a world wonder. And if I were to check the annotations, and this is, this would take me to a video on how this complex design was made. And let's not put too much time over here. Let's just go to another picture, and I can shuffle between multiple pictures of, within the context of this lesson. And now I'm outside over here, and I am just exploring as if I am standing in this one place. And we can talk a little bit more about, as a teacher, you have complete freedom to post things. And let's just go one more ahead. So this is on top of the structure itself. And you can examine how it would look, how it would feel like to stand over here, at least the closest replacement to it. And this is just, again, one way of trying to simulate virtual, real environments, at your home, at your school, college. And I think this would be a fantastic addition to the college library also. If students are interested in visiting world spots, you can come here and check this out at your ease and, your convenience. And of course, the school can make content over here available as well for the students to learn. So this is just some of the things that are possible on this entire platform. And yeah, so that's it for the demonstration. And I think we're just in time for the end of the session. And okay, so that's all that we have here for you today. I hope everyone was able to at least gain some new understanding at the end of the session. So let's go towards questions. So Patil sir, can we tackle a few questions if anybody has any?
Yes, sir. I would request teachers to please unmute their mic and ask the questions.
Yeah. So we have a few minutes. Let's anybody who feels like asking anything that you want to see more about, that you thought you want to say, ask me, how is this working? We can just have a discussion on that too.
May I ask a question? I'm Amita Sehgal here.
Yes, please go ahead.
We are from the commerce faculty with most of it business and business related topics.
All right.
So just like you gave the example of architecture, have you done any use cases for how a teacher of commerce can use in a very simple way in the classroom?
Okay. So similar to what I just showed you earlier is that, again, one way of portraying architecture is through is giving the teachers a way to demonstrate live to students where certain pieces of architecture have been implemented, in say any real constructions. So with the Taj was just one of them. We have like a corpus of historical sites across the world, and you don't really, this way of viewing it, and is not going to be possible on YouTube even, or any other platform that is available on right now. And as a teacher, something that we're doing is that it's not just showing that a picture, be it a 360-degree picture. It's not just showing the picture of that particular piece of architecture. It's also attaching specific annotations and also specific instructions for students that, okay, you're looking at this, but what I want you to observe is this particular part, and you can hone in on that aspect of the whole experience, and you can leave these notes available. So once created, it's not just that you are pressured to only do this within your sessions. The students can check this out at their convenience at home, or even when they're revising for an exam. And yeah, again, visiting historical sites, visiting laboratory environments that we have, they're also within our library. So that's again something that we're doing. And what we're trying to do is we're slowly trying to build a corpus of commerce and finance subjects for this. But we started them with mathematical issues and showing different ways of demonstrating statistics topics. So because many times it's difficult for students to visualize how certain statistical phenomena work, or even say how graph or 2D plots are working. So we are trying to show, demonstrate them in a more visual way. The student can actually, he's not just handling a graph paper real, but he can twist and turn that same graph paper virtually, and also see how, a particular formula leads to, that particular graph visual in, say, in a more, the kind of deconstructing and breaking it down for better understanding. So for now, these are the current use cases we have. I hope I was able to answer your question.
Akshat, thank you so much. It's just that if you could, it would be really nice if you could go through our syllabus, our commerce and advertising. We have many, many interesting subjects, finance related and so on. And so if you can collaborate and actually make some things which we can use in the class, or we can give as projects to our students,
Right.
that would be a good takeaway from this learning. Otherwise, it remains academic for us.
Yeah.
So it would be nice if we can do that.
Sure, absolutely. So we do intend on actually, looking at the curriculum and identifying where exactly it's possible to have this platform, and how you can say involve this as a, say, you rightly mentioned projects. So one very good aspect of this is that students can also participate in a similar way as a teacher. So if you are using a library object to, try to design a lecture and make a point, put a point across, the students you can give an assignment to a student to go and click a 360 picture, say in your vicinity, show a piece of, demonstrate a piece of architecture that, that you would like to show the class, and the students can either pick them up from the internet, or if there is any sort of real life, close by to them that they can take pictures. It is now possible on your mobile phones to create photospheres if you have a smartphone purchased in the last 3 years. And they can put this up on the platform. They can write their points across, and we can, as a college, can sit and assess those, and they will constantly be on your records. The students, they have contributed just eternally to the platform as well. Yeah. All right. So yeah, we're definitely excited to try that out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Very, very interesting, Mr. Akshat. Mostly in a management courses, students are, even in a commerce and other courses, students are taken to industrial visits. So I think on this can be used as an online industrial visit. Have you thought about how will you train the non-technical teacher to have a good grasp of this system? And if at all we need to demonstrate how company functions, manufacturing process, or different, there are some YouTube videos of different companies. For example, Reliance Jio, and how Mukesh Ambani has his arrangements in those companies, and how he interacts with fellow employees and all that. I can show them through YouTube video. But if at all I have to use this platform, how do you think about patent issues and other issues? And mostly I'm worried about training, how non-technical teacher can grasp it.
Sure. Okay. So two parts of the question, I'll just tackle it in. First is the aspect of training the teachers. Now, what we are going to do is, say you would like, say a few teachers are interested in getting this working. What you can do is, you will completely onboard you. We will conduct a very intensive, not intensive as in, we will conduct extensive training of, how to use this. So it is absolutely very intuitive. As I mentioned, what we just showed you of that 3D lesson of the conic section, that took me less than 30 minutes to make. Now, as a teacher yourself, maybe if you get used to it, it may come down from 1 hour back to 30 minutes as well. We will walk you through how to put together this lesson. Again, as I said, there is no coding required at all. You just have to drag and drop elements and just write down. You can also copy paste content that you have from your PDF lectures or your PPTs, and you can just have them show up over here. Also, because it is possible to create audio recordings for the students to hear offline on the platform, what we also have is we have a voice synthesizer. So there are open source sample voices that we have created for speakers. They are artificial speakers, and you can just paste your content. Say you have a paragraph or 2 paragraphs that you want in audio, and you don't even have to sit and record your mic. You can do that, but you just paste them, have the synthesizer create an audio content of it, and the student will be able to hear that. Tomorrow, if they're sitting at home, they want to hear you live, you can do a meeting format. If they want to sit and do it as homework, they can do that. So again, for non-technical people, it is going to be easy as well. There is no technical requirement. So you have to be completely assured on that. And we are here to support you over there. So like constantly, you want to create a session, we will create 4 or 5 sessions with you. The 5th session, maybe you can, take a challenge on your own. The second, with industrial visits and all, yes, we already have plenty of industrial visit examples on the platform. You can just scroll and search, see anything that you find interesting, pick it up, show to your students. And also we will be continuously adding more from development side. Also from your side, from student side, if you have your own camera photos of past industrial visits, it is possible that if you have enough pictures, you can at least create panoramas, 360s, put it up on the platform and show students that, okay, this was from last year's visit. You can now virtually view it whenever you want. Finally, the students also can participate in the same way as I just spoke to Dr. Amita. And with respect to patent and copyright, so this platform currently, as long as if anything can be put up on YouTube, it can be put up here also. So there is no licensing requirement as such. Everything is open source for you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Akshay.
Yeah, no worries. Okay. We're slightly, now we're starting to exceed time. So Santosh sir, let's just tackle, say, one more question if anybody has any. And
Yes.
otherwise we can move to closing statements.
Yeah. Okay. Any more questions, please? If you have, you can ask the questions.
Okay. I
think
think
there are no questions now.
Yeah.
So I can move on to
Sure.
next program.
Yeah. So before we close for the day, I think I would just like to redirect your attention from our side. Before we close, I'd like to just have a few words from Dr. Vidya Kadam, so a representative from our side. So maybe, madam, if you can just give us a few words of what Devlon has been doing about our work with EON, and also how all of this comes together with AI and data science, and what we're doing to improve colleges' competencies everywhere.
Thank you everyone for giving us a chance to present. Actually, last 3 years, Devlon was totally into data science education, teaching data science, data analytics, management tools, and only into education into data science, what is related to computers. And the success story of that was we have done a very good project with Oracle, given them the successful use cases which we have proceeded for the product level success. But since Akshat has an immense liking and in-depth knowledge about AR, VR, and XR learning, he has an experience in Sony, and that's what attracted him to get into deep dive of this education. And this pandemic, where the classroom education is not possible, and the education will get a good boost. So this was like a good thought of taking XR and VR, augmented reality teaching into it will take classroom teaching, like practicals are not possible in these situations, where XR platform hands-on practicals can be done. And as very rightly Deshpande sir, industry visits which are not possible can be done. So this will help many things. So hands-on in medicine also. Now surgeons are doing practicals, how they are giving just optional MCQs they are answering, and the orals are taken for practicals, which is not possible when doctor goes to operate. Not possible that without having hands-on experience, how can they perform surgeries in future? So this platform, like intubation of ventilators. Now dentist people are doing all this. So this is what Eon XOR and Devlan, we are teaching them, like doctors hands-on, how to intubation is done. So these everything is done very nicely. So practicals can be taken on this platform. So this is a big added advantage in this scenario. Yeah, that's what we have taken a dive into this.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, Patil sir. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you,
Thank you,
madam.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Now, Akshay sir, can we?
Yes. Yes. Back over to you, Patil sir. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Akshay sir, for this wonderful presentation. It was really very interesting, catching, and with full of pictures and small videos. It was really very useful for all of us. We have touched upon many points like virtual training, its use in medicine and remote surgeries, virtual tours of real estate using AR, VR based sitemap, and you finally touch upon its use in education at national and international levels. It was really very good presentation. We thank you once again, sir. Thank you. Now,
Thank you.
Now we'll move upon to the feedback session. Now we have two teachers who will share their feedback about the session. Now may I request Professor Suryakant Pagare sir to please give his feedback about the program. Professor Pagare sir.
Thank you, Patil sir. Good afternoon, all. Most of us will agree with me. Being the teacher in commerce, these terms, artificial intelligence, data analytics, XR, AR, virtual reality, data science, all these are kind of heavy words. We respect and revere these words, but we kind of prefer to keep aloof from them. We keep aloof from this area. As it apparently seems, these words are out of our league. This area is out of our reach. I said apparently because since last 2 days, we have been experiencing that Mr. Akshat has successfully simplified these concepts. He has shown us the various real life examples and tried to quite simplify these concepts. And he tried and clarified some of our very curious and representative queries also. And we have realized that these concepts have become inseparable part of our routine, social, academic, commercial, and personal life. He not only succeeded in stressing the importance of these concepts, but also showed us through his presentation how these concepts have evolved and how this artificial intelligence, data analytics, virtual reality, all these technologies is going to shape our present and our future. Today, he further addressed to some of our problems in academics and showed us how these technologies can offer us intelligent solutions. Frankly, though I'm not able to recall all the intricate terms he used in his presentation, but one thing I'm sure, we can surely enthuse ourselves, our children, our students to get ready for learning these technologies which are going to be our tomorrow. Thank you, Devalan. Thank you, Akshat, for your wonderful sessions. Thank you.
Thank you, Pagare sir. Now may I request Professor Karishma Khadiwala ma'am to please give her feedback.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. So I would just like to begin with an informal talk over here. Like, Akshat sir in his presentation today, he was just talking about that the present, the students' concentration power has reduced like just to 5 to 7 minutes. So I consider this as that all of us were the students for this FDP, and our concentration also comes to that level. But the difference over here was, as the presentation was so very interesting made by you, as Pagare sir, Patil sir, and even everybody of us would just like have Pagare sir and Patil sir have mentioned, and everybody would have agreed to what I'm saying, that you made it so simple and so interesting that none of the anywhere did we felt that it was like a little boring. Ye nahi samajh raha hai. Nothing was like that. So I sincerely appreciate the efforts, because a science technical person speaking this language, where you have come down to our I would say come down to our level to make us learn, to make us create interest. So I would say that it was really very good. It was really very simple, very effective at the same time. So it was really nice having you for both the days. Definitely, from the learner's perspective, there are many things what we have learned in these 2 days. So speaking about the yesterday's workshop, you spoke about AI and the history, evolution, big data, which was just a term like, big data, but exactly what is big data? How is it important in various sectors? You also spoke about, very nice was the career aspect of the students, yesterday. So as now we have knowledge about it, we can pass on this knowledge to our students, that yes, in future, this is a career which they can think about, because in future, this is what it is going to be, machine learning and AI. So that was really very nice. And today's session, I found out much more interesting as yesterday, because it was all about AR and VR, and how we can implement this in our day-to-day life, as a day-to-day life of teaching especially. So I would say that it was really very nice having you. And to go a little deep as to what you covered up today was like about the applications of AR and VR in the different fields. Like you spoke about medicine, you spoke about real estate, you spoke about the virtual convocation. That was really interesting. So maybe in any of the maybe in future, I don't know how much of that is going to be reality in Podar, but if possible, that virtual convocation was really very interesting to me. At the same time, even the examples what you just explained, as to how you can make it more interesting in the lectures, how you can use it, the diagrams and all of that. So similarly, I could relate some of my topics, what I teach in finance or marketing, of some of that as to how can I use that and make it a possibility as a in the classroom, to make the lectures much more interesting. So I would say in and all, it was really very interesting. All Much of things is what we have learned in both the days. And one more commendable thing was the questions which were answered by Akshat sir. So he did big justice to all the questions. He was patiently listening to all the questions, and he has answered all the queries. So thank you so much for it, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Karishma ma'am, for your valuable feedback. Now, I would request Dr. Amruta Patil ma'am to propose vote of thanks and conclude the session. Amruta ma'am.
Yes. Good morning all. Am I clearly audible, sir?
Yes, madam. Just now.
Yes, ma'am.
I think there is nothing remaining from my part to express a vote of thanks, because already Karishma ma'am and Pagare sir has explained it so well. And it was really nice session, and we all have enjoyed it. Undoubtedly, IT sector have created their magics in all the fields, and they create a demand in such a way that the person who is not accepting is not able to face the competition and cannot match with other people. So that way, we would say that we have to go with IT sector, and whether it is a medicine, or it is agriculture, or it is a teaching, you people definitely point out the problem those are happening, and how the solution can be created. And for us, it is these are the wonders and the magics, and we just use them and adopt them, and these are making the life comfortable. And thank you so much for explaining everything so well. For the second session also, I would thank Vidya Kadam for sharing her views and giving us all kind of examples. I would also like to thank our principal madam, who is very busy but still will take out the time, and she'll make sure that all the sessions and all the programs are happening properly, and they are completing successfully also. I would like to thank Kavita madam for always being there for all kind of assistance and the issues those are related with the academics, college, etc. I would like to thank all the participants for attending this program. Thank you all. That's it.
Thank you, Amruta ma'am. And last but not least, I would like to give my sincere thanks to all the participants for participating in this program and taking active part in it. So thank you all.
Also would like to thank you for organizing this program.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Akshay sir, once again. And we can now leave the program. Thank you.